You've heard me talk about conscious breath work many, many times. I've done videos on it and why it's so important. But I think maybe there's a little bit of a lack of understanding as to why or what it actually does. Why is it so important? We know that it stops the mind or slows the mind down. It allows us to create space within the body between our thoughts and our awareness, which is fantastically helpful. Absolutely. It helps to expand our tissue so that we could ground more of our higher self. It helps to heal, right? These are very important functions of conscious breath work. It's just so important in this ascension process to be doing this and bringing awareness back to the body. But I wanted to describe a little bit about how it works. What does it really do from a mechanical perspective? What does it do physically to the body when we do that? So I thought of an analogy here. I have my pilot certificate, private pilot certificate. So I've studied airfoils, which is an airplane wing, and the movement of energy and high and low pressure systems and things like that. Walter Russell, who I did a video on in the past, talks about light and varying pressures of light and how that is what creates manifested matter in this reality and things of that nature, frequencies, octaves, that kind of thing. So we've got this differential scenario happening here within this universe that is responsible for manifesting everything that we experience, everything we see, right? All matter. Well, our physical body is energy compressed into matter. It's light compressed into matter. Okay. And we become this dense physical being. And our five senses try to prove to us that we are just this dense physical being. And if we buy into that thought, we disconnect from our higher self, right? We walk around as dense, as separate, just this physical being. Breath work helps to get in there and bust all that up. So when we think of it in terms of an airplane, when we think of an airplane wing has a function to create a pressure differential. Okay. It creates a high pressure system beneath the wing and a low pressure system above the wing. And that pressure differential causes the wing to lift, which lifts the airplane. That's how airplanes fly. Now, how does this work? Well, that leading edge of the wing creates a choice point for air that hits it as it's moving through the air strikes the leading edge of the wing. And if the air goes beneath along the bottom of the wing, it's relatively flat. It moves, okay, at a certain pace. Now, if it hits the top of the wing, there's a hump in the wing. So that air then has a farther distance to travel. So it has to speed up. Okay. And as it speeds up, it creates a low pressure effect, a low pressure system above the wing. So we have high pressure below, low pressure above, and the airplane flies. Okay. Now, when we're in our body and we're feeling really detached, we are a high pressure system. We have a dome around us, just like with the weather. When you're under a high pressure system, generally it's clear. You have a dome and weather really can't get in there, right? Because it's high pressure. When we're more particle, more dense, identifying as this body, we are a high pressure system, and that blocks out our higher self. That disconnects us from our higher self. It just can't get in. Okay. There's not that pressure, that space is not available to get in because we're sitting under a dome of high pressure. So we have to dissolve that dome. And that's where breath work comes in. Okay. When we could get into the body and we could start to breathe into the body, we could find areas of density. We could be guided to areas where we're sore, maybe not feeling so good. Maybe we have a little digestive issues, whatever it may be. You can get into the stuck energy, and you can breathe into it with awareness. And we can do that by pulling our shoulders back, creating space, breathing into the heart space. We can do it with the solar plexus, third eye, Mula Bandha, all around these anchor points in our body. We could actually breathe in with awareness and create space, physical space within the tissue. We can take that space, that tissue, and we can expand it by breathing into it. Now, when that happens, that rises in frequency. Now the high pressure system changes. Okay. It starts to become a low pressure system because we release that density. We have all this space, and the space needs to be filled. Just like the top of that airplane wing, that air speeds up to fill the gap in the space because there's a low pressure system. Okay. It has farther distance to travel because there's a low pressure system above the wing and a high pressure system below the wing. Okay, so the air speeds up. That creates velocity, right? So when we can do that, we create that space. Now we have an attraction point for the higher self to come in and fill that space. Okay, so the higher self will ground and move into that. That's how we heal these areas within our body, by creating space. We do that with breath work. Okay, as this energy moves through us, it moves through us very fast, and it takes out all the density that's in its path, right? And if it hits something that it can't take out, it reflects it out. And then we can bring awareness back to the body and create more space. Think of a hurricane, massive, massive low pressure system, very destructive process, a lot of energy moving very fast. But as a hurricane moves through, what happens? It takes out a lot of the gunk, and the land will flourish after that. New plants, new life will form and come forward. It's like it cleans it, okay? It heals it. So that's what's happening. It removes that stagnation. So that's what's happening when we bring awareness to our breath and bring it into our body. So what we want to do is basically take these high pressure areas within our body and make them low pressure areas, so that we could ground and bring forward more of our higher self. And then that dome kind of starts to disappear, right? And the velocity moves, the energy moves, it gets up here, and then it comes out here. It manifests the torque field, right? And now we have high energy, high frequency energy manifesting in our field, which collapses timelines, changes realities, timeline jumps, highest soul purpose, healing within the body, healing emotionally, healing past traumas. All this wonderful stuff happens. So when you're feeling disconnected, know that you are a high pressure system. You're a high pressure system, a dome, and your higher self cannot get through. If we even think of it as a dome, what happens? The higher self kind of hangs out here outside that dome, right? We're looking out into reality. We can perceive all that as triggers, right? The triggers. The soul is out here knocking on the door saying, hey, there's an issue here. I can't get in. And these emotions, these energetic blockages, this density within your body, we're reflecting it out. Okay, your multidimensional aspects or guides, all reflecting that out for you to be able to perceive. And when we can bring awareness to that process, then we could say, aha, yeah, there's nothing wrong. There's just some density that's in the way. And I'm going to get in here, and I am going to do my part, bring awareness, consciousness to it. And I'm going to create that space. And that opens the door for that higher self to step down into the body. And then the entire body becomes less particle and more energy. It rises in frequency. So if this video helped you guys, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I greatly appreciate it. Comment below. I'd love to hear from you. It's kind of an interesting analogy with the airplane wing. It had me thinking the other day about this process, and it's essentially that's what's happening. So love to hear your thoughts on it. If it resonated, if you know anyone that this video can help, please feel free to share it. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.